You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Well, welcome to another episode Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Michael Fink.
Hello.
So, Mike, tell me a little bit about yourself and if you want, what you do professionally.
Well, I grew up in Richmond, and I originally just moved to Owens Mills, Maryland, about 2.5 months ago.
Next to the Ravens training camp, I know that's where my grandma lived out there.
And the only way I can describe Owens Mills, it reminds me of Pittman, New Jersey, where my mother grew up before she moved to Richmond with my dad. Um,
Are you close to the Baskin Robbins down there, or not the Baskin Robbins, the Red Robin down there?
I'm right off Reisterstown Road.
I know there's a Red Robin down there that my grandma would take me
There's a
to.
Red Robins and a Green Turtle towards Reisterstown.
Those bottomless steak fries, bro. That's what you got to go for. I'm telling you, I killed them suckers, dude.
But moving here has been an experience. Understanding, like, what about exploring your options, kind of in a way of like not just staying in one location, but understanding the food palettes of other district areas where people live. Um, and when it comes to like spicy food or what people like in regards to jerky, you kind of have to not just stay in one location, but also expand your horizon. So moving to Owens Mills was a great opportunity. One for work related, but also trying to get my company off the ground even further.
So your company's a jerky company. You didn't really
It started out that way. And originally it was like a hobby kind of thing. And I used to hate going to Walmart or going to stores and buying $8 jerky and the flavors weren't.
Shit's expensive, dude. It's I bet what's the main one is Wild Jacks or something? It's like
Yeah,
$16 for a small bag and there's only like 5 pieces of jerky in there.
yeah.
Like my buddy hooked me up big time one day. He's a deer hunter. He hooked me up with deer jerky, but it was a giant freezer bag with like 80 of those things in there. It was free. I'm like, this is something I want to consume a whole bag of jerky, not one that's little cut up little tiny squares the size of a Ritz cracker. It's not beef jerky to me.
And and that seems to be a problem with mainly with companies is that they think that they can get more money by selling less and selling less product. And not in a way like, let's just go and give them 5 bags to Walmart, but like more of like just 5 pieces of jerky in one bag, and but give them a good supply of it.
Especially when you own a when you own a giant company too, you gotta think, it's not that hard to produce jerky when you're that size of a company like
Yeah,
Wild
yeah.
Jacks or something. Maybe for someone, like maybe for your company or something, it's a little bit difficult because you put a lot more time and a lot more of like you're a smaller base than a giant manufacturer is. But when
Hmm.
it comes to paying $16 for, a couple pieces of jerky, I'm like, that's not even fucking worth it. Like where I always found it so interesting is I went camping all the time. I'm a
Hmm.
big outdoors guy. Going to the camp store at a campground or something, your dad gives you just a little bit of money or something. You go up there, they have the little jar you see it at like an old style gas station that has beef jerky in there. You can grab a stick of it out.
Yeah.
That's classic good shit right there.
And that came up in my research when I was going to different stores, is that not only just flavor was an issue, but the amount of it in each bag was an issue. And I me enjoying spicy food, and when you try to get the sweet and spicy or the black pepper, it's like it's nothing to me. It's like eating regular jerky to me. Whereas the original is just boring. It's like eating goldfish or um,
Hey, don't knock
tortilla chips that have no
goldfish.
flavor to it.
I freaking love goldfish. I think it gets nuts though when you start doing like pizza combinations and shit. I'm like, what happened to the basic ones?
And the basic one, it just got boring. So I was like, well, you can have the original, but expand your taste buds to where people enjoy not just the sweet and spicy or the black pepper or the honey barbecue or the original, but also go to the extreme if you have to.
What would you consider the extreme?
Like there are people who are hotheads who like Carolina Reaper or Ghost Pepper or Trinidad Scorpion or even Irish whiskey. I even did an Irish whiskey flavor beef jerky. First tries it wasn't the best. It was trying to find that right combination. But once I hit the mark and selling it at some of the jobs that I was doing, a lot of people was like, "You got to start making more of this. This is actually pretty good." And some of them were like feeling like they were getting drunk off of it. It's like, well, that's the problem. You can't get drunk off food when it has alcohol because it evaporates,
Well,
but you
you
still get the taste.
I mean, I had memories when I was going, to a camp store. Somebody see the bag of beef jerky. I would always get the old Smoky Pete's or whatever it was called. It had a
Hmm.
cowboy on the front with like one giant ass eye, looked like someone jabbed him in the head with a stick or something. And I mean, those were
Hmm.
good. They were classic tasting jerky. Obviously, it tastes like it. Maybe a little bit black pepper was pretty good, but they're like you're saying, they're basic combinations. And I think like an Irish whiskey one's interesting, but it's like the world we're coming into today, you're seeing cereals of thousands of different flavors. You're seeing
Hmm.
everything has such a wide variety of like, let's just try these together and see what it works. That's what's kind of needed in the jerky industry, I definitely think, because it's always the basic stuff.
And I agree. Being a foodie, and enjoying cooking and everything like that is that you have to have the thought in your mind that if you can do it, why not just go for it? If there's a flavor that you think that you can try, and I'm not saying just do something that is silly like make your beef jerky taste like cotton candy. That'd be a little weird for me because your mind trying to think, oh, this is beef jerky, but it tastes like cotton candy.
It's like
You
meat and
want something
dessert.
that will actually will be a good combination. So like beef jerky or one of my extreme flavors, which is actually really spicy, is my Irish Hellfire, and that includes a lot of my some of the hottest peppers that I grew. I did grow peppers outside my house in Richmond, and I will use that in the recipe for the beef jerky for Irish Hellfire, and it was close to 7 million
Scoville.
global heat unit. Yeah.
What about like a campfire jerky, man? Like one that where you taste it, it's got that smoky taste to it that makes you feel like you're sitting there and getting a nice, inhale of that campfire.
Well, the trick to how to do that is a little. It can be misconceived because you just think that you can go. Because when you make jerky, you have to have it dehydrated, no matter how what your size is, even if it's like closet size or just regular on your countertop. But you also have to understand how the marinade works. And if you're going to get a smoky flavored beef jerky, you can use liquid smoke. But my preparation is put it in a smoker for a little bit to get that smoky flavored, and then put it in the dehydrator and let it uh, come to the jerky consistency that you need to eat it.
Because that's gonna hit. I mean, the interesting part about having different flavors and stuff is flavors and sense of taste is like nostalgia for some people. If I ate a nice smoky or something that was infused with like liquid smoke or something, it gives me that nice
Hmm.
that gets that camp flavor taste. It's immediately
Hmm.
gonna throw me back. And I mean, you're from maybe from Virginia, but you live in Maryland now. What's the main fucking thing that Maryland people put on everything? Old
Seafood.
Old Bay, dude. It's Old Bay. Make an Old Bay beef jerky. You're gonna hit so much of a different audience. If they can make popcorn out of it, Old Bay is a perfect way to go.
And I'm sure at some point I would actually hit that point selling Old Bay flavored beef jerky. And like I said, being new to this in a way, like I've only been around for a year and I've been able to sell it locally in Richmond. So I actually would been planning on trying to open a store myself, not just online, but a location. And then eventually my my horizons have, it's like, why stop there? And I had goals to open a restaurant and a pub and even do my own brewery. Um, I'm starting to get into the hot sauce game. If you seen yourself, which was just I've been collecting them to kind of understand the people's taste buds and what they like. and I want to take my company and then go into the hot sauce business and sell basically a similar taste bud palette as my jerky, but then also in the hot sauce, so that people will not just say, okay, he's a jerky company, but also he can do hot sauces. So what can he do next? And coming from a family who enjoy IPAs, going to breweries all the time, and being Irish, 90% Irish to begin with. I drink whiskey myself, but I also like IPAs, and the microbreweries that are growing and popping up everywhere in the United States and even throughout the world. Um, if I can get my foot in the door with a brewery, I would love to do an Irish Mike, brew that is, I wouldn't say exactly similar to the taste bud, but something that can give an idea. Okay, this guy is bringing his Irish folklore or his family history into the beer. And my main goal was to literally put Ireland on the map in regard to jerky and hot sauce, so that people are not thinking when it comes to hot sauce, Trinidad or India or China or just America or South America. But I want something that wanted to bring Ireland into the fold and say, okay, we got to try this stuff and
Yeah,
see what they're talking about.
like a pub, like shenanigans type deal, or like, but more of
Yeah.
like a bar style where you can roll to the bar, grab like a pint or something of maybe a crafted beer, maybe sit down and enjoy a little bit of food too. But like, that's a good idea. I
Mhm.
mean, if you're going to open up a business like that, instead of using peanuts or saltine or pretzels or something as a little, I guess, beer nuts on the table, you could use little pieces of beef jerky. I
Mhm.
mean, literally letting people taste the product. I mean, that's what Cracker Barrel does. It's like they have a gift shop and all there inside of it, but it's basically showing you the product of what they make while you're also enjoying it and kind of wanting to expand your horizons a little more. I mean, when it looks at like flavor combinations for food, I mean, everybody's looking for the next thing that's going to blow their fucking mind. And there's obviously, you follow a lot of people that I've talked to from the chili community. Um,
Mhm.
but there's communities out there like that. There's people that are going to be jerkies, and it always seems like the best option is like, let me send them my product so they can review it. And maybe that'll get me. That's not going to get you anything. Sorry, people that send their hot sauces into hot sauce reviewers, you're just giving somebody free shit. They're not going to, I mean, everybody just wants something free. It's a little bit different when you have to pay for it, which is like you need to go to events. You need to start showing people like, this is my company. Try a sample. That's what Sam's Club did to me. And let me give you a sample of it. I'm like, keep coming back like for the eighth time. Like, you can't get any more samples. I'm like, shit.
I do, and that's what I had a lot of struggle with when I was developing my company. Is do I want to sell my stuff in Walmart or something like that? And at some point, I do. Um, I used to joke to myself, it's like I used to say I was gonna make Buffalo Wild Wings my bitch, because eventually I wanted to open a restaurant and say, I want to show them that I can do better and not just do processed meat or something like that. Because I don't believe in hormones or non-GMO stuff. I'm always about organic, and people having health issues nowadays. I want to give them that palate. Say, let's do the healthy palate, but also the enjoy the American cuisine with a little bit Irish flavor to it.
First of all, before we start talking shit on Buffalo Wild Wings, I do want to say that their commercials are amazing, but that feeling is nothing that you experience in a Buffalo Wild Wings. It's very fucking awkward. I'm not a fan of the TVs at the table sometimes, like a Dave and
Yeah,
Buster's. Like, this isn't something I want to experience. I like a classic where there's like two TVs total and they're above the bar. So you can have that real experience too. Like, you want to sit down and enjoy
yeah.
the company of your friends and the people around you. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, there's only one place I know, a restaurant that did it fucking right, and that was Quiznos, and they're fucking gone. They didn't, yeah, they were just so basic as possible. They're like, here's our subs. This is what we are. We're not Subway. This isn't no Jared bullshit $5 foot long. This is Quiznos. You come in here, you get a sub, you get a weird ass toy, and you go home.
And when it comes to the restaurant business, I always feel like people got a little bit lazy in a way.
Well, that's like that everywhere. It's because it's so easy to make a dollar and just, work with something that's just going to attract people. If I wanted to open up a business, I would just start selling the main popular foods, selling burgers, selling whatever. There's no classic taste to shit anymore. You see everybody, it's the same basic stuff. And if someone does a weird flavor combination, it's like they don't get the credit they deserve, I would say. All these mom and pop shop businesses are getting less and less people going to them because there's just another capital corporate company buying out another business, making another fucking one. They're building another Royal Farms down here where I live. That's 4 in a fucking 10-mile radius. That doesn't make any sense.
But when I say laziness, it's almost like with one company does like for Buffalo Wild Wings, they got the Blazing Wing Challenge, but then you go to Green Turtle and they got the Blazing Hot, or the Bellagio's Pizza and Wings, they're doing Blazing Hot as well. It's almost like they're copying off each other. Whereas if you're going to start a business and not be a chain restaurant business, but more of just like a one spot, hot spot kind of place where for me, it was like, should I open every day or should I open on the weekends to do happy hours on Fridays and and then just do regular business from the Irish my business side with the jerky and the hot dogs, where it's being a distributor, but also have a restaurant on the other side of the business where I can do the 3 day thing, but then come back and kind of do a revolution. Because the problem with chain restaurants is that they're getting processed meat or they're getting processed food. But in the end, when you go home, do you feel good about it? Like
You
you
don't
have cramps
remember it.
or
You don't remember it. You just only thing you remember about it is that it's
you
cheap.
don't have that feeling like that was the best meal I've ever had. Or I could actually go back and get more. Or I wanna bring my friends there.
What's a certain experience you've had in your life in the restaurant industry that's kind of been a memorable one? I remember in Pittsville, maybe 30 minutes or 40 minutes away. I was probably
Mhm,
15 when this happened, but I had a fucking burger at this restaurant called Station 7. It was made out of an old abandoned firehouse they turned it into, which was
mhm.
kind of always stuck out in my head. But it was a barbecue bacon burger, best fucking thing I've ever had in my life. I still get like I feel like Regis Philbin or whatever in How I Met Your Mother, where he's like, "Where's that fucking burger?" Like he's trying to remember that spot because it was that impactful. It was like I'm not a big fan of bacon. I'm not a big fan of red meat, but dude, it stuck out in my fucking mind.
But to answer your question, there was one pizza joint that was in the town where I live in Chesterfield, called Carmela's Pizza, and my mother used to wait there, right when I was in somewhere elementary school, middle school, and I would walk up there with my friends from the neighborhood. We'll go get a pizza and drink some cream soda while waiting for my mom to get off work. And I remember every Friday you can get a whole 12-inch pan pizza for $5 with a cream soda, and that was memorable because if even at 28 and remembering something from when you were a kid, and that was the only place that you can remember that you actually enjoyed your time with. But now that Carmela's is out of business and have been for more than 10 years, we got with my friends, we're going to Carmela's. Remember going to Carmela's. That's the impactful thing. So I want to bring that feeling back to where like you remember Irish Mike, let's go back to Irish Mike's and get this food. But I don't want it to be a just one time thing. I want it to be like have them always come back and say, I always enjoy your bangers and mash or your large large quantity of wings that you have with every flavor you can come up with.
Well, that's also you gotta make the experience memorable too. That's hard to do because obviously, like somebody could walk into your restaurant and they get into a fight at your restaurant or something. Not with you or anybody, but maybe with their significant other or family member or something. It just creates a bad
Hmm.
memory in their mind. But you gotta have the experience too. I mean, going to a place. I mean, like we mentioned in the beginning, Red Robin's, for instance. I went there with my grandmom. I don't see her all the time. She used to live in Owings Mills, Maryland. So when I went up
Hmm.
there, it was like for a week of the summer. So she would do everything possible to make sure I was having a great time. So I'd want to come back, even though I only saw her like maybe once or twice every like couple of years or something. So I go up there
Hmm.
first fucking night. Let's go to Red Robin. We go to Red Robin. You're already treating a kid that's 14 years old out to dinner. Get whatever the hell you want. You want a chocolate sundae? Bam, get a chocolate sundae. I mean, I was just like, can I get the basket endless whatever steak fries? And she's like, "That's all you want? You don't want actual food?" I'm like, "This is fucking food when you're 14, man. You're tearing that sucker up." And that's what you want to have. You want to have those moments at your place, and it's got to be an open environment, I would say.
But then again, you also have restaurants who are raising the prices up, and that takes away from the memory because every time you go, you're like, I don't want to spend $100 on just two plates of food when you can make it reasonable for a family of five or six.
$7 for endless steak fries you eat until you're full. That was enough for me. I've talked to so many people in the restaurant industry that's like the food I make is $60 a plate. And I look at it, I'm like, it's the size of a 50-cent coin. I can go to the gas station, get that same fucking sushi and actually fill myself up. I really hate that when people take a picture of a plate or something. It's like a sushi roll comes out to $36 or something. Then they have like a drizzle of the syrup on the side, a little garnish, and a little bit of like a one other item added on the side. I'm like, where's the fucking meal? You paid $30 for that. That's not going to fill me up. And I'm a skinny guy. I don't even really eat that much, but that's not going to fill me up.
Yeah. And I'm skinny as well, and I come from a long line of skinny people. So, but having those small meals but cost 29, $30 is it's not going to satisfy me or somebody else or even a child. Maybe, I mean, it might look like a good thing, but is it satisfactory? In my opinion, no, and maybe in somebody else's, no. But again, we're also capitalistic, opportunistic. So we're all trying to chase the dollar, trying to earn a living for ourselves. But it's how you do it. Are you gonna do it the smart way, or are you just doing it like every other person's way, which is, I'm just trying to get a dollar and I don't really care about prices. I just want to put money in my wallet. Well, that's also the problem with today's business.
Well, that's the
You
world
can't
today.
just
And
chase the dollar and try to make a living for yourself and not care about the consequences on the outside or how your business is gonna fall
well,
apart.
in today's society, it's all about cutthroat business. It's so much easier to step on somebody's neck and get ahead. Especially in the corporate world. Sadly, it's all giant monopoly companies, and it's like it really sucks because I've been to small mom and pop shop places, and I've watched them lose their businesses. I've watched that struggle happen, and I've been enjoying going in there and really building a banter because I like the person that runs it. Like from all the people I've talked to with hot sauces, anything, they send me something. If I talk about how good it is because I actually believe and I like the person that I've talked to about it. I don't
Hmm.
ask for any sauces. They send them to me if they do. Like I had a great conversation with you. What's your address? I'm really too easy about letting that out. But it's like I've talked to you and I know you're a real fucking person. You're a good person. I can sense it. I mean, you can't hide that shit in an hour conversation usually. You're going to express
Hmm.
yourself, that's the whole point. And that's where I started seeing a lot of like really kind of you see the people that have a big ego in the kind of the people I've talked to, and then you see the people that are really true, and it's just like I'm trying just to make people have an experience again. I mean, that's gone from anywhere now. It's so much easier just to go home and watch Netflix rather than go out to eat or without spending a whole bunch of money. And sadly, with where we're at right now, people are not going to have a whole lot of money to spend.
And that's unfortunate now because we're looking at a possible recession where business is going out of business because we couldn't have work due to the whole coronavirus. And I just read yesterday almost 1 million people filed for unemployment within the last week, and that's sad. Um, but how we come back with that is not the selling of bad product, but not I wouldn't say necessarily just that, but also what if this was the apocalypse? What if was this the end of the world? Are we always going to rely on food that
We're gonna need your
that's going to
jerky more than anything. That's what's gonna happen. I know if I'm in a zombie apocalypse, I am going straight to that beef jerky aisle. I'm taking everything off the damn shelf.
and I do appreciate that. You putting confidence in me in regards to saying that you would eat my jerky more than you would try to find a chicken wing to put it over a fire. We're not going to be trying to look for food in a restaurant to just try to fill our stomach. We're going to have to rely on what's the healthy choice, and that's why I wanted to start when I once I got into the once I get my foot in the restaurant business. I really wanted to explore the whole organic palate, because being a diabetic, you can't eat, you know, McDonald's all the time. You can't eat burgers that come from processed meat. Um,
Yeah, my cousin's a diabetic. Sugar is a big problem. We got to monitor him on that. Actually, he's got to carry needles around and all that. Like I remember.
oh, I'm actually on the diabetic pump,
Oh,
and I've
that's
been
good.
on there since I was a senior in high school. And um, in 2012, it changed my life around. Um, my perception on life and how I should really take care of myself and really how to be careful on what I eat. I used to be that kid that went to McDonald's all the time. I used to go be that kid who goes to, Wawa and getting, energy drinks all the time. And I don't do that anymore. I don't really drink energy drinks like I used to. I mean, maybe once every in a blue moon just to, kind of wake up. But in 2012, when you have a diabetic seizure where it puts you in a coma and you die from that seizure, but then being resuscitated and then you're put in a coma for a month and then waking up on an Independence Day and you have no clue what you're doing or who you are or who your parents are or who your friends are. It puts you in a spin for this is a wake up call.
And that's what kind of caused you to look more at your food.
Well, it also helped me understand that I need to be more careful in what I eat.
Everyone
Um,
does, not even if you're diabetic too. I mean, we're all not really paying attention. If you've noticed the increase in from 2019 and 2020, the amount of gastrointestinal issues that people are experiencing, I didn't notice
mhm,
it until I started dealing with it since January. I've been dealing with a severe gastro issue. I know
yeah,
I always kind of mess or talk about it in the podcast a little bit, but like it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. Even now, I'm kind of in pain a little bit too. But it's like we're starting to notice that there's a lot of shit that we're consuming where it's like the companies are skipping out because it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to make if they use an artificial ingredient. And when that starts to happen, all these years of buildup, it's doing something now. We're starting to really notice it's why or not diabetes, but obesity is such a high rate in our country. And the most is
heart
because
issues and
yeah,
another one.
it's just there's
And
too much problems with when it comes to our food. And I think like especially coming from someone like you who is a diabetic or something, spend so much time looking at like what you have to eat, watching yourself. Normal
mhm,
people don't do that. And I think that is a big issue because consuming without knowing is a giant problem. I mean, I used to eat tuna. I mean, I still do. Cans of it every single day was my meal. Basically, I would have multiple cans of tuna as my meals or
yeah.
something. I got mercury poisoning from that shit right off. Like, I mean, after 7 years of it, like I just found out, and I'm like, okay, we need to start paying attention to what we're doing it and make sure we can try and find alternative ways to maybe do it better.
And that takes me back to growing up is that we all as kids used to hate eating greens at the table with our families. And why do I have to eat this? Why do I have to eat this? I hate broccoli and stuff like that. My sister, she's not a fan of seafood. And when we get our stuff from the stores, we have to be careful what we're looking at because not everything is gonna be plain white. Oh, it looks good, but it doesn't mean it's good for you. No, it's not. And that's why I kind of want to bring that kind of business where, I don't want to bring it from a factory. I want to bring it from a good source of, food supply so that I can also supply it to people who can enjoy, you know, the old, growing up on, food that what our grandma used to make, or our mom used to make
Well,
that
jerky's like
didn't come.
Well, like for jerky, for instance, it's not a meal. It's a snack sometimes. Sometimes for some
Yeah.
people it is a lunch. I used to work a long, long time ago, like 4 years ago. I used to work at Walmart. When I would have my lunch
Hmm.
break, I wouldn't even need to really pack my lunch or whatever. If we got our
Yeah.
first break or something, I would grab a beef jerky stick, the $1 ones, and I would eat that. It tasted like fucking rubber. And it wasn't the good
Yeah.
kind where you had to pull it and snap it like that. No, this thing was like chewing it felt like if you swallowed it, you were eating a tire. That's not good. That is not going to be good in your body.
No,
Even like the
it's
nutritional.
harder to break down in your system. Um, it can also cause other problems such as like clogging your arteries, having you're more at risk for heart issues, more like heart failure, heart attack.
Well, even though if
Even
I don't understand the process of making jerky, but like the flavor combinations, if you wanted to roll back to that, it's so easy to think of really good ideas that it's not like you're going to create something brand new nobody's ever seen before. If you do, good
hmm
job. But it's about changing up the game because a lot of people aren't really attacking a lot of the options. You can make up look at pizza combos, okay? Me and my dad, every time we go over the Bay Bridge, would get those combos. We'd always get the pizza flavored ones, okay? You can do that with beef jerky. All you got to do, add oregano, add something that makes it taste like, you can add cumin to anything, makes it taste like fucking Taco Bell. Do that to your beef jerky. You're changing up the flavor profile.
yeah, and like you said, it's easy to do. Um, but just because you can do it doesn't mean everybody's going to enjoy it. And I just want to make sure that when I put a good supply of product out there, I want to make sure that everybody enjoys it, not just a few chosen people.
Well, you're going to have your people that are going to stick to their main things. If you're
Yeah.
creating
So
a
and
whiskey beef jerky, for instance, that doesn't sound like one I would enjoy. That's just a lot of people are going to be like, I don't know about whiskey jerky. I'd rather just go with original. But you're going to hit a certain community with that. Same thing if you create a hot pepper jerky. You're going to attack those chili heads. You just got to figure out, that's why there's different flavors out there. Is find the one you want to go with. If you want to go with original, if you want to go with teriyaki, you're not going to be able to love everybody here.
well, when I say that, I don't want to do the standards. You every Walmart flavor that you can think of was teriyaki, honey barbecue, all that.
I haven't
I
seen a
want,
pizza one.
and that is rare. You don't go to Walmart and see that all the time. Like when I was looking online 2 days ago, I was looking at like the candy bars that people was putting out, and I always am hearing them like putting out new Hershey bars or new Kit Kat bars because the business is looking for other flavor to explore and put it out there. And I was like, well, I can do that for my company. I can, I wouldn't say candy flavored, but more of that flavor exploration that I can, go into and see what goes well with beef or, rabbit jerky or deer jerky. I mean, there's all different alligator jerky.
Alligator jerky. Fuck. You're going to capture a huge audience in Florida with that one. Jesus.
Mm, yeah. And, but when it comes to making that jerky, like with the different kind of what kind of different meat it is, and then also what kind of flavor you add to it, it might be cooked differently, but it also will attract a different target audience in regards to what people like. So like Old Bay, it's definitely going to attract the Maryland crowd. Alligator, definitely the swamp people down in Florida, Louisiana.
Get some
Um,
crawfish jerky on that one.
um, I don't know with crawfish. Something might be a little bit something I'll have to look up into in regards to like how to do it and how it would taste. I've never heard of crawfish, but I mean, it could be something that I can definitely try.
It's difficult to eat, but once you figure out how to pick it, you are a
Yeah,
master at it. It's pretty easy
and
once you
I
figure it
love
out.
crawfish. I mean, I enjoy it. I love seafood. It's one of those things where I can never get tired of. Sushi is another one of those things where people, it I would say some of the flavors in sushi is that acquired taste, but the person I'm living with, she's a big sushi fan. And the thing that she every time she gets sushi, she changes it up, but she still always loved yellowfin and shrimp and all that. And it's easy to put a shrimp flavored jerky out there because it's the flavor that people are familiar with. You try it on ramen, you can try it on in other products. I'm pretty sure some jerky flavor that
You just named the best way to think of a flavor combination. Where I've been tossing out these ideas, just look at this is how I've been envisioning it is if I had a bag
yeah,
of beef jerky, when you take ramen or something or one of those military meal pouches where you have to open it up and you
yeah,
have to pour the flavoring in there.
MREs.
Yeah, figure out what the hell would go good if you had a bag of beef jerky and you dumped a spice down in there and then shook it up. What would make it taste different? Same thing you do with ramen when you add that spice packet chicken on top. Figure out what the hell you want to incorporate in there. You got pizza flavor using oregano. You got let's say taco using cumin or something. You can do spicy sweet chili. I mean, that's a beautiful thing that goes good with beef. I mean, chili is amazing. They put that into a Dorito. I mean, even if you did a beef jerky that had a Cajun style or something to it, just something that's a little bit different. I mean, they always stick with teriyaki, barbecue, the basics like we're talking about, but it's like you can capture an audience because there's going to be someone out there, especially in today's world now, where people are like, I want to see something new. I want to try something I haven't tried before because we've been getting the same shit for so long. And it's because it works, it's a template. All the companies use the same template. It's so easy to stick with the original flavor, but guess what? Like with Kit Kats, Hershey bars, all these types of things, that original flavor. What about the people that don't like dark chocolate? What about the people that only like white chocolate? It's why they ended up going there. What about the people that only like matcha Kit Kat bars? Okay, so there you go. You're hitting that small audience that you couldn't have done before. But when you're starting out like you've been doing, you're not giant monopolized or anything, but like you gotta hit the popular ones first and then come out with those little hidden side ones. Like, you ever heard of a fucking taquito beef jerky? People are like, what? I just came on here because I heard about your Irish whiskey one, and now you got a taquito one. Well, you got next to hot pocket. They're like, oh well, guess fucking what, we do have a hot pocket one.
Thinking about that, I mean, it would be a good idea, but I mean, you have to think about what would taste good with the jerky itself. I mean, you can't just say hot pocket beef jerky and thinking that, oh, it's gonna taste so great. I mean, you have to. It's more of like a trial and error thing.
Do
And
like a
again, with the
beef
whole
jerky
template.
infused with cheese and do like maybe a sprinkle of oregano on top of it to make like a pizza flavor. I mean, that would be, I mean, for hunters, for instance, they're going out there with a bag of beef jerky. They like that original flavor, some like a little bit different, but like that's a prioritized snack. You can easily go into some country areas, be like, I got some jerky here. I want you to try it. They can make their own, but like you got a great market when it comes to jerky. Only on the factor is you got the country people and you got the people living in the city. There are people in the city that have had jerky before, like deer jerky. For me, I live in a beach town. You know how fucking hard it is to get deer jerky? I have to hit up all my hunting friends. You going hunting? You getting a deer? You getting a deer? It's like, I can't give you all my jerky, Rob. I'm like, shit. I mean, when you were talking about selling it and making ideas of like, I was immediately picturing you in one of those old school, like 2 o'clock in the morning commercials where there's like a dude selling knives in a knife store. Like, we got a bunch of knives. I'm picturing you like sitting there talking about like, this is my beef jerky company. And there's a conveyor belt of animals and there's like elephant, there's like ostrich, there's all these things going. It's like a meat grinder. And you're like, we know where our animals come from. We got all types of jerky. We got fucking elephant jerky. You want ox? Put it in a jerky. I'm like, there we go. I'm in. I'm in. He's got something different, unique, and I like it.
And that's why I kind of started the business. I mean, originally wasn't a hobby, and then I kind of just thought, I could actually make a living off this at some point, and and then I started having, you know, dreams and goals more. Just I wanted to push my horizons. I'm not one of a one stop, one go kind of person where I just like if I can do is this the best for me? I mean, am I going to be satisfied with just one thing? Or I'd rather, if I can go bigger, I can go bigger. Or if I can push my horizons or push my expansion in regards to like what else other products I can do or what other kind of business I can have, that I'm willing to go that far. Um, but originally, when it came to beef jerky, it was a hobby. Me suffering from anxiety after had that seizure, I was always dealing with anxiety. Um, Going to classes. I'm not a big crowd person, even though I love people. Um, and I was always having beef jerky on hand and chewing that, and people will think that beef jerky bad for you or just a snack food. There's some mental capacities with it in regards to helping with anxiety because you're chewing on it and it's helping you focus on something else rather than what's going on around you. Um, and it definitely helped me with the way of thinking in regards to like doing homework or doing doing the bills or something like that, or just trying to focus on something else rather than what the problem is that existing and then coming back to it when I'm actually calmed down. And I want to be able to, share my story with people, understanding that this wasn't just a hobby. It was something that, um, I struggled with for a little bit, health wise. And also, um, beef jerky was something that for a little bit, it was only what I can afford in regards to snack food. I would get a bag and only, eat it for have it for at least a week, just, break it down as I go. And then once I get paid, I can pay the bills and stuff like that. But it was more just, as I started growing with it and, putting my money in savings and stuff like that, I was like, I could actually go a little bit more. I can do more with it.
All right.
The Irish Mike's name.
I got three things I got to say here. Some big ones that are going to. All right. The biggest problem, which is the first thing, is with the beef jerky industry, that's got to be a very fucking hard one to be able to advertise, mostly because of what's
Hmm.
already so dominant, but also with nowadays kids are doing all vegan, they're doing all these types of things, which makes it a little bit difficult unless you find a meat alternative like the imposter meat or something, which I don't recommend doing. But like,
Because see, I like vegetable, but the whole vegan thing, it might be good for business. It might be bad for business. It's just one of those things where you have to do the research and see what works out for you in the long run.
I think I've expressed to so many people on this podcast how much I do not really like what vegans do, only because they shove it in your face and it's like, just leave me the fuck
Yeah.
alone. I like eating what I eat. Not
Mm.
everybody can go vegan in the world, so stop thinking that way. But obviously, if it works for you, it works for you. The second thing is where you're going to grow your company is with social media. That's the big thing that's going to take everything
Yeah.
off now. But the main thing, what you just said to me, that has already solidified in my mind through this podcast with you, is what you just expressed on how it is like a form of therapy to you, what it means to you. You need to figure out how to take exactly what you just told me and express it and condense it down into a shorter thing, which I'm more than happy to help you think of some stuff to maybe shorten it down and put it on your packaging label. Not only talking about your company, but how much it means to you that you have this thing. That's what's going to get
Mm.
people to fucking buy it. Because if I read that, it's the same thing you see on a bottle of hot sauce when you look at it and you're reading it and it's telling you the story crafted in the fires of hell and all this type of shit. No, just say the reason why whatever it would, we can think of something, but that what you just told me is if you have that on your bag, people are gonna fucking buy it because they want that. They want to understand your train of thought. They don't want to think, if I grab a thing of Jack Links or whatever off a shelf, you know what immediately I'm thinking about? I'm thinking about the Sasquatch from the commercial. They capitalize on that. But I'm not thinking about the fucking dude making it. It's probably a machine. It's not anything I can connect to. When they buy your jerky, they're going to be like, this is a fucking guy making it's Irish Mike. How are you going to sell me Irish Mike? And it's by doing exactly what you just told me, by condensing that into something and putting it on the fucking bag, dude. I'm telling you.
Well, I mean,
I'm
and
in.
when you
Take
talk
my
about,
money. Take all my money.
well, I will say, on a tangent, the name Irish Mike, it started out as a joke. I am Irish, but I didn't have that nickname for a while. My mom used to call me Bobo because that shows a nickname to me. Um, my dad didn't really have a nickname for me. He normally just call me Bud or something like that. Um, but I was working for USAA as a IT web support guy, and we had another Mike there, and he was a black gentleman, and every time my supervisor would call on me, I was always thinking he was talking to me, but it was really just the other guy, and I kind of got annoyed at it because also I'm hard of hearing as well. I'm deaf in my right ear, and so I'm not sure when it comes to somebody saying the name Michael, I'm thinking that person gonna call me, but it could be somebody else. So and so we're gonna have to change it up. So they started calling him Black Mike, and I kind of was like, okay, to me, just hearing it from somebody else saying that. But then when it's like, well, what would you like to be called? And so, well, I'm Irish. So I mean, if you want to come up with something, it's like, why don't we just call you Irish Mike? and it kind of stuck with me. And I was like, you know what, that would not be bad for a business name. And I started kind of ran with it. Being a graphic design major at Liberty University, um, I've kind of played around with the logos, trying to influence with my, Irish history and where my, about my Irish family.
So that symbol
The lo-
comes in, that little dragon, like little griffin type
it's
thing.
actually a griffin
I
that was
called it.
on the coat of arms of my family. It comes from the family of Dargan, which is originated before it was modernized or Americanized. It was before that. It was actually a Dargan. It was also believed to be Darcy. Um, So I wanted to influence the Irish history or my Irish family history into my logo to kind of tell a story that, you know, I respect my heritage. I respect it enough to where I'm willing to share it with people. Like I said, I'm a people person, but I don't do well with big crowds because of my anxiety. But I have been teaching, kind of helping myself with through therapy and, you know, coming around with after, I would say 8 years now in regards to what happened to me with my seizure and how it put me in a hospital bed and I was in a coma. Um, but I evolved. I grew and I opened my eyes. I was able to look back on my family history and reading on my family history. I showed a lot more respect to it. And I was like, I want to share that with my customers. I want to share that with my friends. I don't want to just have a logo like Buffalo Wild Wings and it's just a buffalo. Because we know that buffaloes don't have wings. It was just a flavor that was, mixed
Depends
up.
on who you're asking, damn it. I
But
studied Native American fake folklore, and let me tell you something. Where the buffaloes roam, how did they get there? They flew there, my friend.
but I just wanted to share my family history with the people and give them an idea that my business is it's a family crowd kind of business. Bring your family. You don't be just an adult only or a kids only kind of
Well,
restaurant. I
they
wanted to
should think
be.
that when they think Irish, because what do Irish families have? Like 10 fucking people in their house, basically.
Man,
It's
my mom was the youngest of 11 and 12 kids,
there you
and
go, Irish right there.
and and this wasn't something that I just wanted to say, "Hey, mom and dad, look what I can do." Um, after getting out of college, I didn't really want to know what I wanted to do, even though I did love graphic design. But my dad told me multiple times, "You're a great cook. Why don't you go into the culinary business? Why don't you do that?" And I love cooking. I love cooking for people. I love, give them, giving people food. I also love having family over or having friends over, and we're just talking, telling stories, and drinking and laughing and everything like that. I want to put that environment in the restaurant or whether it's a store or in the business where we're all enjoying our time and telling stories. And you might meet someone at the bar and say, I'm glad I made a friend today because Irish Mike was able to use his family history and his idea that everybody's a family.
Making
And
memories, dude. That's the whole point of life, right? I mean, we're only here for a brief amount of time. So it's like we might as well make the best of it. I mean, some of my best moments are not really, there are some at restaurants, but a lot of them are, cooking up burgers at home, that enjoyment moment of, having a nice smoke fire or campfire and my dad putting on some corn on the cob or something on the fire, then wrapping
mhm,
it up in tinfoil, like having a crab feast. No one from that is from not really from Maryland does not know the meaning of a crab feast. That moment where you sit down, you're eating crabs and enjoying conversation with people. And it's
mhm,
real shit too, because you'll prick your finger and next thing you know, you'll be like, fuck, like it's that realness to it. That's that thing that a lot of people are missing out on. And I think that's a major thing you have to do really with your company too. And you're selling jerky is like I'm saying, you want to bring that realness factor into it. Like I said, the way you've done the hardest step so far, dude. The hardest thing, and I know you were talking to a few people before you even came out here to see what it was going to be like and stuff, but
mhm.
doing a podcast, dude, That's up you're putting your fucking self out there, and that's a step with your anxiety or whatever, if you've never done this before. But, like, for me, this is a good podcast to be on, I would say, just because it's not like anything that anybody's really kind of seen. It goes fucking everywhere a little bit, but it was fun. It's because it's just conversation. It's not that hard to do. And you've expressed
Hmm.
that. I mean, this has been amazing conversation. I believe in you from what you fucking told me about your beef jerky and what it means to you. I mean, that's a person that believes in something. And I think that's gonna what sell a product.
Hmm. And you having my company and putting it out there on Instagram, and I don't really necessarily have Facebook or anything like that, but putting it out there and meeting some of the chili heads or hot heads. I've had great conversation with Harmon Heat. Have great conversation with you and other people who are involved in that kind of business, and it helps me understand the way that the way they do things. It's almost like a community in a way where everybody knows each other because they're doing the exact same thing. They're growing peppers and they're trying to share with other people who enjoy that kind of thing. And I want to, I would want to put my foot in that same circle and say, I can do this too. But being a fan of gardening as well and growing peppers myself, and then also doing beef jerky, and I remember there were times on weekends where I would do 3 days in a row with nothing, just making beef jerky in the garage and trying to put it
It's
on the
I
dehydrator,
just
marinating
pictured you
them.
in a Breaking Bad scene. Instead of making meth in your basement, you're making beef jerky in the garage. Someone just opens up the door like, "Mike, what are you doing in there?" You're like, "Shut the door."
And you're not the only person who said that. I've even had a friend even send me a picture of like me in a hazmat suit, and I'm standing in front of the dehydrator with smoke coming out of it, and I'm looking like Walter from Breaking Bad.
Dude, that would be perfect. You could easily do something for social media where you had like a pint in your hand, have like maybe like a shamrock shirt on, or maybe have like your logo on a shirt or something, and then you're just like you have a bag of beef jerky in your hand or something. You just get it, like maybe put a little meth in the background or something. Someone's like, "Wait, what's that in the background?" It's like, "No, no, no, pay attention to me, bro. Pay attention to me."
And but like it's all about um community and sharing your history with people and why don't just do it because you're trying to make $1 and put it in a bank account so that you can supply your family with Christmas gifts and stuff like that. It should be about what you enjoying, and I think a lot of people miss that is the restaurant business or businesses alone where they make up these businesses, but they're just doing it for the dollar and more of the. We should just do it to enjoy it.
Well, we lost community when we went corporate. Sadly, all these communities, like the best part about social media now is it's branching these communities together. And you're still going to see this some communities with a little bit of hate in it, but like Pepper community is pretty good. It's new. A lot of their people there I've met are very beneficial. There's a couple there with a few egos or something, but everybody's pretty helpful. It's because we're all experiencing the same thing. I mean, we're all just trying to make a little something for ourselves. But the way that everybody in this communities are doing it is the positive way, the one that's like, let's build ourselves up instead of trying to claw at each other's throats to get to the top. And that's what makes community different from corporate.
And it should be about giving back to this people who came back to support you. They're giving you their support, but you should be able to thank them in a way by giving back to them and say, you supported me through all these years. Why not I just give back to you? And I've learned from my mother and my father in a way where we should not take but give back. I have two aunts with ALS. I have lost one last Thanksgiving, not just past one, but the year before. And she's, you know, it was hard to understand. I mean, try to picture yourself um, in their shoes. But the way I could describe it was, if you think cancer is bad, ALS is worse because it kills you from the inside. And it's almost like being possessed with a demon. it's killing you every second, and you're just getting worse and worse. And cancer does the exact same thing, but it doesn't have that where it breaks down your body where you can't use it anymore. You can't talk anymore. You can't swallow anymore. And if that ALS community where they're coming up with um, foundations and support companies where to put money into the research of ALS to help people, not necessarily get a cure from it, but also get better treatment. It helped me understand that maybe I can use my company not only to make a dollar, but also give back to that community and help them understand where I come from, but also to share um, what I love, which is family, community, good food, good beer, good snacks around a campfire or in the restaurant. But also, I want to be an impact on others where they can go around telling their friends, like, I got this from Irish Mike because he's a family guy. He's all about family. He's all about sharing with people. And
That's
I think
what
a lot of people forgot about that.
that's what you got to add to your freaking logo, man. Put like a little thing under the crest and a little banner and say community, not corporate. Something like that, dude, would be perfect. It's going to sell that whole pitch so easy. And I mean, it's definitely important to give back. I mean, so many people lose aspect of like the people that help them get somewhere. You know what I mean? Lose contact, get too famous. All I know is one thing: if you get fucking famous, I don't care if you become the number one beef jerky thing. I better be
Hmm.
getting some bags of jerky. I might talk shit on hot sauce reviews. You don't care about that. But God, if I had an endless supply of beef jerky, I would just want a bathtub of beef jerky. Is that a problem? I don't care how many cows goes into it. I'm not vegan. I do talk shit on that
I
vegan community,
I
man.
will I will eventually when I get somewhere, I will be definitely sure to send you a care package of beef jerky for you, and
I,
hope you enjoy it.
I'm not even talking about like a full in-ground pool of beef jerky. I'm just talking about get a little doggy pool and fill it up like those little inflatable things that always rip all the time, and just fill it up with beef jerky and just take a video of it'd be perfect. It'd be a great marketing, great jerky, great times. And this was a great podcast. Michael, I really appreciate you coming out and doing it too, man. This means I want to give you here a minute at the end. Promote your page, promote anything you want to promote, such as where people can get your jerky if you're selling it online.
I am currently right now building a website. I have a business partner who helps me with the R&D and legal stuff. She does all the research for me in regards to legal stuff and the best packaging and stuff like that. So she helps me out with all the important stuff. I handle all the imaging and how I want to promote my business in the best way possible. So right now, she and I have been working on a website. Once I launch the website, a lot of people on Instagram will recognize, will be first to know. I will eventually put it on Facebook and Twitter once I build those two up. And once I get the product online, y'all will be first to know.
I'll make sure to link all that in here too, so people know where to find it as well. Because you got to get the word out, Mike. You got to tell people that his name's Mike. He's Irish and he makes jerky. I mean, that's the best fucking. That's like Orville Redenbacher for popcorn, dude. Like you can be that of the beef jerky industry. I'm tired of looking at Sasquatch throwing people through walls. I want to see Irish Mike throwing jerky at your doorstep.
Yeah. Eventually, hopefully, that becomes a thing, a reality. But right now, like I said, it was originally was a hobby, and now it became a dream, and I'm a dream chaser.
Well, thank you so much for listening to this episode Out of the Blank podcast, and stay tuned for our next episode.